You have joined the call. There are three other people in the call. Goldie, your microphone is on.
Madam, good afternoon. Madam, you are not audible. Madam, you are not audible.
Hello.
Yes, ma'am.
Good evening, sir. I'm sorry. Yes, sir.
You can start your class, ma'am.
Okay, sir. So there's just one student. Do we wait for some more time? There's still time. We can wait for another 5 minutes.
I didn't write there and join.
You can start, ma'am. You are recording your class. If anybody wants, you can send them.
Okay, okay. No issues.
This action visible. Use window switcher to focus.
Hi. Good evening, everybody.
Use window switcher
So
to focus.
my name is Dr. Chabi Dubey.
Left there. I didn't write there.
My name is Dr. Chabi Dubey, and I will be instructing you for this particular course, that is BSWL 107. So since you are a student for social work, then you must understand that field work is a very important component in social
Goldie,
work.
your microphone.
When we are dealing with uh, working with individuals or with groups or with communities, then in your theory part, you must have read about these methods of social work. Okay, so we have done things like social casework, social group work, and community organization. Field work is basically a component in social work where we try to integrate this theory part with the practice. So, what all we have learned as student of social worker in classrooms, the important thing then is how do we apply this with on the field with the clients. Now, since after the completion of the courses, you will be placed in agencies, or maybe you will be working or already working in some agencies. The important part is when we are dealing directly with clients, when we are working with clients, how can we integrate the theory part that we have studied with the practical application? That is, there are no fixed, as such guidelines as to the use of these social methods, social work methods. Now we know that there are two types of methods in social work. One is the primary methods, which include methods like social casework, social group work, and community organization. And then we have another secondary methods of social work, where we are dealing with the social welfare administration, social research, and social action. Now, in your theorem, you must have read about all of these methods one by one. Now, in this through this BSWL 107, we are going to go a little bit into how the fieldwork part has to be conducted by the students. Okay, so I will just share my screen with you. Okay, so I hope you can see the screen. Is it visible?
No, no, ma. It's not visible. Now it's visible.
Okay, okay, okay.
But
Thank you.
excuse me, ma.
Yes.
Am I audible?
Yes, you're audible.
This fieldwork journal was not uploaded on our LMS up to now. 106 and 107 up to now is not uploaded.
Actually, BSWL 107 and BSWL 106, they both can be accessed directly from the university's e-Gyan course. That's an online repository of the university. So all the material for all the courses that can be easily downloaded. So I think Sir can help you out with that, and they can provide you a link to this e-Gyan course. So this is basically an online repository of the University of IGNOU, and it has all the various reading material for all the courses that is available. And BSWL 106 and the journal BSWL 107, this is also very much available online, so it can be accessed through eGyan course. I think Sir will be able to help you in that. Sir, they have a little bit of issues with the availability of the journal. So if you can just send the link to the students, just maybe message them whenever it is okay. So I think he will do that. Okay. Anyways, uh, so we will continue with the fieldwork journal. Now, BSWL 107, this is the your social work practicum journal for the fourth semester. Okay. Okay. So this has been scanned and it has been uploaded like this, starting from the first page, which gives the profile of the student. So in this page, you will be writing all the information about yourself. So there is a name, there is the address. So you have to write your address, residence address, your phone number, and your email if you're having your enrollment number. So this is the enrollment number which would be given to you by the university, address of the study center and code. So when you have been admitted, you must have been allotted a study center. Okay. And every study center has a particular code. So you have to write the name of the study center and the code. Then there is a regional center which to which the study center is generally affiliated. So basically, you will be writing the name of the address of the regional center. Then here you will be writing the name and address of the agency where the concurrent visits were done. So basically, you will be doing around 15 days of concurrent visits where you have to get yourself attached to an agency, which would be a development agency or a welfare agency. Now, I will tell you about this in more details in the presentation. So here you will write the name of the agency and the address of the agency where you have done your concurrent visits. Okay. After that, you will be writing the name and address of the fieldwork supervisor. Again, I think the regional director, sir, will give you the name and the name of the fieldwork supervisor who will be allotted to you to complete your fieldwork. Okay, and here you will be having phone number or mobile number of the supervisor. So this is again will be this information you will receive from the regional center, and here the signature of the student. So here you will do your signature. Now again, of course, it has been given here that all the information that is required by the in the journal in the face sheet, this is to be provided by the student, and it is mandatory to provide this thing. And also another no another general direction that instruction that basically this journal has to be kept safe with the student. Okay, to make sure that you do not um, uh, lost this, lose this by any unforeseen event. Now, since I think it is to be done online, I think for you people it would be done online, and I think I will just be asking sir about this. Just wait on, sir. Okay, he's busy in a phone call, but we'll get back to him later. So basically, it is the now this is actually an important information, but you may skip this for the time being. Now, the second face sheet is related to the profile of the supervisor. Okay, now this is something that that the supervisor has to fill. So he or she would be required to fill in the name, address, and the phone number, email, designation, all of these information which would be asked. Okay, so the student supervisor is supposed to fill all these information which would be given by him or her. Okay, now this is a certificate that would be awarded by the supervisor, and this is where they are required to certify that the student has completed all these different components of the fieldwork for the fourth semester. So this would include the induction meeting, the orientation visits, the 15 days of concurrent visits, okay, and also five individual conferences have been completed by the student. So this is the certificate that would be given by the supervisor after the student has submitted the journal, completed journal. Okay. Now we then come to the different contents of the journal, where we will be going through these the introduction part and basically other guidelines and other aspects of the fieldwork, where you will be given information about the list of the fieldwork settings where you can do your the log sheet which has to be filled by the student. Then there is this induction meeting that would be organized, and this is actually, you can consider this as an induction meeting. And then there, how you are supposed to write the report for the individual conferences, which will be five in number, the various fieldwork components, also how you are supposed to go about writing the report for the orientation visits, that would also be five in number. Then the concurrent visits, that is the 15 days of field work that you are supposed to carry out in any given agency, how you are supposed to write the report for the field work, what performer will be used. Then we will go into the social group work, the social group work, since for this particular semester you are supposed to carry out the social group work, how you're supposed to prepare the report of the social group work, and then there will be an self evaluation report which would be done by the student. Then a summary of the fourth semester field work that has to be written by the student, and then finally other aspects. So this will be discussing each of them in details. Okay. So here we will start with basically the fieldwork for BSWG fourth semester. Now, just tell me if anybody can tell me. Have you already done a field work in your first semester, in your first year?
We have done fieldwork in first
Yeah,
and
we
second
did.
semester.
Okay,
First
have
and
you done your
second.
field work? How did you go about it? Have you already written the report for the field work in the first year?
Yes, yes,
Yes.
we written them when we submitted them. We are just waiting for the grades.
Okay, so it was done online. You have submitted it online.
Yes, it was submitted online and the document was editable. We were written on the document because it was editable. Then after that, we submitted it. But for the first and second semester, we were told to find our own supervisor in our country who has the master's degree in social work, not the school give us the supervisor. As for the first and second semester.
Okay, 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 okay. So basically, you have to find out a supervisor in your own country. Okay, so that's not a problem. Now, how we are going to do this particular part? Now, this is something that you will have to ask your supervisor to just go through the various components of the fieldwork that is required by the university, and of course, an individual who has a degree in master's degree in social work can help you in the supervision part. Now we will just go through about how what all is expected in the fourth semester fieldwork journal from the students. Now you must have also gone through the BSWL-106 part, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, you have gone through the 106 part. Now, the 106 is basically all about individual working with individuals. Okay, so there you have to carry out your work with individuals. That is basically take up social casework for the 15 days. For this particular semester, we will be focusing on the group work. Rest of the part will be similar. So, in the fourth semester, we are going to have to complete, of course, 25 days of work, of field work, and it comprises of 5 orientation visits. Now, this is similar to the orientation visits that you must have done for the earlier semester. And again, here you have to complete 15 days of concurrent field visits and 5 individual conferences. Okay, so total in this way, it comes out to be 25 days of total field work. Now, in this semester, you will be practicing the method of social group work. Okay, what exactly is social group work? You must have studied about it in the theory paper BSW 125, social casework and social group work. Social casework is all about working with individuals. Okay, so you take up a particular case of an individual, and then via plan the appropriate intervention accordingly, depending upon what exactly the major problem of the case is, what the problem of the client is, and what help exactly does he or she expect from you. Okay, so this is basically about taking up social casework. Now, social group work is all about working with groups. So here we are expected to work with groups of around 10 to 12 individuals. It can be anything between 10 to 12 or 8 to 12 actually. You can have, at least 8 individuals can be there in the group, and then you can take up different sessions with the group depending upon the nature of the group. Um, and But one thing is that we have to make sure that the group has to be homogeneous. Okay, that means that the member of the group must be having some kind of a common characteristics. Comparatively, they should be of similar age group, so you can have a group of teenage individuals, okay, or maybe have a group of around young girls 18 to 24, 23 years old, or maybe work with the elderly. So there has to be some kind of a common, commonality, some common points between the members of the group. Either they should be of a similar age or they must be from a similar background. For that matter, you can even take up the students of a particular section of the school. You can also take up case of individuals having going through some kind of a similar problem. For example, it could be a case of parents whose child is or children is suffering from any kind of mental disorder, or say it's suffering from some kind of a learning disorder. So you can take up these kind of work as well. So of course, the difficulty of the subject, or the difficulty of the issue that you are going to take up would depend upon how comfortable you are working with individuals. So there can be therapeutic groups also, where you can actually work with, say, therapeutic groups like Alcoholic Anonymous group, where they deal with the individuals suffering from alcohol addiction. But I guess I doubt if the agency are going to give such uh, you know um, eh, case complicated cases to students. But then you can definitely expect to get some groups where you can generally carry out a more general kind of sessions, like it could be a group of students. Okay, so you can or maybe your young children, so you can take up different sessions with the children, or it could be related to some teenage boys or teenage girls, and taking up sessions with regard to different aspects. you know so it would be basically, the difficulty level would depend upon your own experience of working with people and what the agency expectations from you. But one thing is for sure is, whenever you approach an agency, you have to make sure that the agency actually is working and can give you such sessions to take. Okay, so not every agency will be taking up the method of social group work. Some may be dealing only with social case work, like maybe a counseling center. If it's a counseling center, they may be focused more on working with individuals. Then there could be certain groups who may be maybe certain agencies who may be working with the community, and while they are working with community, they may also carry out a certain group work. So you have to actually ensure that whenever you are selecting the agency for your work, that the agency uses social group work as one of the methods of social work, okay, or intervention. So this is something that you will have to find out before you are assigned work. Now, as you have already observed, most of the problems, at least some causative factors outside the problem areas or problem affected people. So most of the problems that we encounter in our day-to-day life, or even by the clients, they have some kind of factors which are generally outside the problem area. So, of course, the complexity of the problem and the role of the social workers in dealing with them, this you will be learning through this field work. Okay, and also you will know the limitations and strength of the agencies. The limitations and strength of the personnel or the staff of the agencies who are dealing with this problem every day. And also, this work is going to increase your self awareness, your self awareness about the issues, your self awareness about the kind of work that you can take, your own professional value base, okay, your skills that you may, so during this course of the field work, there are a lot of things that you will be able to find out about yourself. Okay, the level of your knowledge, the kind of skills that you or already have, or maybe skills that you will develop over a period of time, so that can be done. So the objectives of the fourth semester field work is the following. The first objective is to develop capacity for observation and analyzing social realities. So you will be expected to observe the social realities as they exist at the grassroots level, and also be able to provide analysis. Okay, so analyze the social realities as they exist. Also develop an understanding of the various needs of the target group or the client group, problems that they are facing, okay, and programs for different target groups of the agency. Also to develop the ability and skills to affect changes in group situations. So how can you develop such ability and skills to bring about changes in a particular group or carry out work with a particular social group, and also try out innovations in practice. So what all new you can actually introduce, what all new, maybe some skills, some intervention, some idea, or some program for the target group. And also, one of the objective is to develop the process oriented skills in working with groups. So this means the entire process of social group work, how that can be organized by the worker, okay, and how you can of course develop the skills which is required to organize such group work. And last is to develop skills in report writing, use of supervision, and preparation for facing interviews. So also one important skills that you will be expected to develop at the end of the field work is the skill of writing reports or documentations, and how can you use supervision to your benefit, and how do you prepare for facing interviews. Okay, now all of these are the basic objectives of the fourth semester field work. Now we have already discussed that field work is a very important component of social work education, as it gives us opportunities to practice what you have already learned. Okay, and also it gives an added advantage of having a supervisor to guide you, so that you will always have the guidance, so that you can be you can ask if you are facing any kind of a issue at the field, on the field. And before you start your field work, it is definitely advisable to just go through the theory part, specifically the part where you have been given the field work, social work, social group work, that is BSW 125. And it is also important that you complete the field work for the fourth semester mandatorily, in the absence of which you will not be allowed to take the field work for the fifth semester, for the next semester. So definitely this is something that you will have to complete. Now, also there are certain instructions that any person who is approved as a supervisor by IGNOU, with a master's in social work, okay, only that person can successfully compete to provide the supervision to the students. Okay, so this is something, some basic guideline to the students regarding the choice of the supervisor. Now, this is basically the field work practicum, as is already stated. It consists of 25 days of field work, and within these 25 days, it will be divided into 5 orientation visits, 15 concurrent visits, and 5 individual conferences. Okay. And since we will be practicing the method of social group work, now you have to visit. Okay, now this is not for you basically, but this is some of the steps that have been given to complete the field work. How you can complete your field work, what are the steps that you have to use? So, first will be this induction meeting. Induction meeting is arranged by the study center. So, whatever study center has been allotted to you, consider these classes as induction meeting, whether because in these meetings you will be given details of how to carry out the fieldwork practicum. You will be counseled about the various activities that you are supposed to complete in this practicum journal. So, induction meeting is all about giving you in depth information about the fieldwork practicum. Okay. After that comes your individual conferences. Now, your individual conferences are the most important component of your field work. This is the time when the supervisor has to meet the student one on one, carry out meetings with them, and the various issues which are related to the field work they are discussed in details. Also, it would give an opportunity to share your concerns on certain issues or maybe seek clarifications from the fieldwork supervisor or maybe seek further guidance about the fieldwork process. So you have to meet the supervisor and any kind of doubts which are there for the students that can be easily asked during these sessions. Now after is the orientation visits where the students have to complete 5 orientation visits in different settings. Okay, we will be discussing about the nature of these settings in detail later. Then the report writing has to take place where you will be writing your report regarding the induction meeting and also the 5 orientation visits. Okay, and the space has already been provided in the journal. So when you are downloading it, you're supposed to fill the journal accordingly, where you will write the report of the individual of the induction meeting and the orientation visits that you will be carrying out. And of course, there are certain things that you have to understand. First of all, these reports have to be in detail. That is, make sure that you write these reports in quite details. Okay, it should not be a one paragraph report. It has to be in quite details. Secondly, you will write these reports in a very formal manner. So it would be written in third person. Okay, now these are formal reports and you will be graded on the basis of these reports. So you will be writing these reports in third person. So you will avoid making use of I, me, myself, okay, or things like these. You will be pronounced like these. You will be using the third person. Okay, so for example, you can use the term student social worker for yourself. So you can always in the report you will be writing SSW or student social worker, and this is how you are going to write the reports. Okay, so they will be written in the third person always. Then after you have done these reports, there will be the second individual conferences. You will be discussing the details of the orientation visits with the supervisor. Okay, and you will have to also utilize this particular meeting to select the setting where you will be completing your field work, concurrent field work for 15 days. So you will decide about it and inform the supervisor accordingly. If you have any kind of doubts regarding the process or anything that you want to ask regarding the induction meeting or the orientation visits, then you can definitely ask the supervisor at this juncture. After this second individual conferences, we will start with the concurrent visits. Now, the fourth semester will be complete in the fourth semester. You will be completing again 15 days of concurrent field work. Okay, in a selected setting. So initially, the after you have completed these field work, five concurrent visits, you will be again going for a third, individual conference where you are going to share your experiences that you have gained during these concurrent visits of 5 days. You will definitely share share the work which was completed by you, and also a plan of action for the next 5 days of field work. What exactly do you intend to do during these coming 5 days? You will be also showing your report of the 5 days of concurrent visits to the supervisor during the third individual conference. Then after that we will come to the concurrent visits, which will be done from 6th to 10th. Okay, and in the next individual conference, you will be showing again your experiences for the concurrent visits till now, seek clarifications on any of your doubts, and also show your report to the supervisor. Then after the fourth individual conference would be the next last five concurrent visits, where you will be doing your last five concurrent visits in the same agency and prepare the reports of the days, all the 5 days. And in the in the fifth individual conference, you can show the details to the supervisor, who would be looking into all the reports and giving his or her feedback accordingly. After that, you will after that you will have to submit your fieldwork journal directly to the regional center. Okay. Now there are some fieldwork tips that have been given here, like basically it's the do's and the don'ts. So what exactly are the do's and the don'ts here? We will have to understand. First of all, you have to understand that field work is something which is not a socially useful, productive work. Okay, this is much beyond that. This is basically a very compulsory or a mandatory component of your degree. So until unless you complete your field work, okay, till you're successfully give submit your reports, your degree will not be completed. So this is an essential part of your curriculum. This is something that you have to do every semester, and it's a very important part of the learning process. So as student social workers, you have to take the field work very seriously. Okay, and try to understand that this is where the learning part will be applied to the field. So you will be learning consciously, okay, and applying your knowledge that you have acquired over the period of time to the practical setting. After you have done this would be evaluated. So your work will be evaluated by the fieldwork supervisor, okay, who will be giving his or her feedback for the same. And so understood that basically this is the most important part of the learning process, as this degree for social work would require you to complete this practical aspect in time, and also you will be graded accordingly, which would be a part of your degree. So this is something that you have to take very seriously. The second important point that you have to understand is that you have to know your limitation. See how much time you can spend on the field work, how much time you can spend on what exactly are the types of issues that you feel comfortable with. So uh, are there any issues where you think that you will not be able to carry out the field work, or maybe you're not comfortable working in? So this is something that you will have to understand. So you will have to understand your own limitations. Now, this could be a problem for students who are in a regular employment. So, are there any students who are in the regular employment? Is anybody working in some office, or they are already employed?
Some
Okay,
work,
Anas.
but I think they are not online. That's why. But there is some. But me, I'm not working with any agency.
Okay. Yes, Davis, are you already employed? Okay, Chipiliro, you are also so okay. So you are actually already employed. So how have you managed to complete your fieldwork, previous fieldwork that you did during the first year?
Actually, actually, as for me, I spare my time from work and to do the food job. But, lucky enough, I managed to complete it.
Yes, Davis, you want to say something?
Yes, I'm working. I'm working, but during field work, I always spare time for that. So during the previous assignments, I was able to spare time to do my field work, and I was able to complete them. Thank you.
Okay. So basically, you will have to find time. So for those of you who are already working, as in already employed somewhere, you will have to see how you can carry on the field work, whether you can get some whether your agency can relieve you for completing this necessary aspect of your course, or maybe you can see if you can find some uh, time during the week, or maybe just take a leave from the agency and see if you can work. So again, this is something that you will have to understand and adjust the timings of the agency as per your requirement. Okay. There may be students who are not in regular work, who are actually maybe they who are only studying. So for them, it is easier because they can, anyways, they can always, give their time, and they can do the work in a continuous manner. But I understand that for those students who are already working somewhere, going to the agency every day may not be a very good idea. So either you can ask the agency if they can give you 25 days at a stretch to complete your work, or maybe if you can take some time out and see if you can, maybe adjust whenever you have time. Say if Saturday is working for you, then you can carry out certain activities of the agency. If it's a holiday, or during the holidays, or whenever you get time. So this is something that you will have to adjust according to your situation. Okay. Now, so of course, you know that this is how you will have to understand your limitations, how you can carry out the fieldwork process. Next is understand the limitation of the agency. So now there may be certain agencies which may have some limited access to funds, or maybe other problems related to lack of personnel, or lack of motivation, poor leadership, lack of infrastructure. maybe their relationship with the community, with the client group is not that what can I say, is not that they are not that good, or maybe they are not that cordial. There is a lot of factionism in the community where they are working with. There is a lot of corruption that they have to face within the system. Okay. And all these may be certain factors which may hinder your own performance in the agency. So definitely your performance as a field worker, that can also get affected because of all these aspects, of all these factors. Okay. So you will have to understand these limitations, and um, have a more practical, or approach towards your work. So you have to have to accept these limitations. Okay. And that you will have to do work within this given framework. Okay. Then if you are faced with any kind of agencies, any kind of issues in the agency in which you are working with, then you can definitely seek help of the supervisor accordingly. Now the next part is how to use the journal meaningfully. Okay, now this journal is basically has to be used as a guide. Okay, it is not to be read as a textbook. It's not a textbook, but it is basically a guide for you. So you will be able to understand the various expectations from the fieldwork. Okay, you can understand the kind of the learning plan that you're supposed to make. You will also understand how you can use the supervision to your advantage. Okay. Then what kind of task you can do, what kind of agencies you can go to, seek work. All of these things will be given by your will be explained by the journal. And at the end of each day of the field work, so whether you have been moving forward towards these objectives by doing the needful task, or preparing the groundwork for these tasks, you should be able to basically note down the points or that you have done every day. So when you go visit the agency, do the work, try to write down a gist of the work or the activities carried out by you at the end of every day. This will help you to basically understand or remember what all activities you have performed in all the 25 days. So do not keep the report writing towards the end. Sometimes what happens is we are not able to actually remember all the activities which may have done during a day. So it's always advisable to write down the important points. So just write down the gist of all the activities that were completed by you during the day. So it would make your writing easier. Okay, and you will be able to actually remember all of the activities that you have carried out every day. Then attendance at field work is mandatory. You must understand that this 25 days of field work is mandatory. So you have to be there for all the orientation visits, for the 15 concurrent visits, and for all the 5 individual conferences. So the attendance of the student is a must. Okay, and it would be for a full day. And attendance at the field work is to be for the full day. So you have to be with the agency for one full day. Okay, for full day for these 25 days. And any kind of leave that you take, you have to compensate with full field work on other days. Okay, so this is something that you will have to understand, that the attendance at fieldwork is mandatory. And every day you will be working for one full day, that is for the entire 9 to 5 or whatever the timings for the agency is. So employed learners, again, as I've already said, those students who are already employed, and who are unable to do a full day field work, they should compensate it by doing the field work on holidays with prior intimation to the fieldwork supervisor. So you have to keep the supervisor fully update about your situation. You have to let the supervisor know about your whatever um, uh, whatever limitations you may be having with regard to the field work or maybe the agency. You have to discuss it all at length with the fieldwork supervisor. And in case if you're unable to put 25 days of field work, you're expected to compensate the same by adhering to the following options. So if a 25 days of field work cannot be completed in a semester, you have to adhere to the following options. First, if the number of field work days to be compensated is less than 10 days, okay, you may complete the same depending on your convenience. So, of course, you can see your convenience, which time is the most suitable time for you to complete. So, you can do that. However, it is expected that you complete the fourth semester field work before the fourth semester field work begins. Okay, sorry. So, it is expected that the third semester field work that you are there, that is given to you right now, you should be able to complete it before your next semester begins. And if the number of fieldwork days to be compensated is more than 10 days, okay, then you are expected to do the same under the block placement. So you will be placed for a block placement, okay, which means that you will have to do this fieldwork continuously for the number of days required. So accordingly, you will have to decide how do you intend to compensate the number of days which you have not been able to do your carry out your fieldwork, okay? And any kind of option you exercise, you have to get a prior approval of the fieldwork supervisor for the same. Now, again, the attendance at these individual conferences, that is the conferences that you will be taking up with the supervisor, that has to be that has to be compulsory. That's compulsory, and these are important because these are not vague discussions on social work topics, okay? But these are specific to your problem. So whatever issues or problems that you are facing, you have to speak it before the supervisor. You have to get his or her feedback on the same. And if any kind of you know limitations that you understand about yourself, about your agency, you have to inform about the same to the fieldwork supervisor, okay? So you it will help you to give an opportunity of presenting your achievements and failures in an objective manner. So it will be basically a very important one-on-one meeting with the fieldwork supervisor. Now, after this, we come to the list of fieldwork settings where you can do your fieldwork. Okay. Now, there are a number of agencies who are working in different sectors. Okay. You can select the agency from any of the following sector, and you may conduct your orientation visits as well as your concurrent visits in the fourth semester. So this is just this the list that is given here. It is not an exhaustive list. You can see how you can make arrangements to work in agencies. It is up to you. Also, your convenience. So definitely go for agency which is closer to your place, closer to your residence, or where it is convenient for you to carry out your work. Okay, so basically, this the list is given, and first we are having NGOs working with women, children, and the elderly. So any non-governmental organizations who are working with women or who are working with children or with the elderly, you can work in such organizations. You can also work with non-governmental organizations who are working in the field of education. Okay, they may be working in the field of health, family setting, or counseling work. All of these can be, involved. So the NGO may be working can maybe working in any of these settings. So you can work for an organization working in these settings. It could be open community projects. Okay, so these are the projects related to women, children, with regard to education, sanitation, potable drinking water, health, self-help groups, or you can say it's kind of uh, you know uh, it's a kind of livelihood group that you may call. Anybody who knows anything about self-help groups? Can anybody tell me what are self-help groups? Anybody has any knowledge of self-help groups? Okay, so self-help groups are basically a kind of groups that are made by or organized by non-governmental organizations or even by the government agencies. These groups are basically these comprise of people who belong to a particular community. Okay, and these you can say it's kind of it's kind of um an opportunity that the agencies provide to the members of the community to become to help themselves in a sense to look into avenues of gainful employment, to look for avenues of sustainable livelihood opportunities. So basically these self-help groups are groups which are created by these development agencies with a view to provide training to to community members, to divide them into groups, to provide them with training. And each of these groups, they use this as an opportunity to develop their what you can say, to develop their livelihood opportunities. So this self-help group, this concept was started first in the country of Bangladesh. Ever heard of Bangladesh, any of you? You know where is Bangladesh? So Bangladesh is actually a neighboring country of India, okay? And it is in Bangladesh that this concept of self-help groups started. And self-help groups are actually groups which give opportunities for gainful employment to the members of a community by mobilizing the resources which is available to them locally. So that so they would be given trainings on different aspects of livelihood. It could be related to some kind of art. It could be related to some kind of things like skill development of skills, or any other thing which they can use to um, basically use it for their livelihood purpose. Then you can always go to health settings, different health settings in term of the government hospital. Okay, it could be a private hospital, it could be a primary health center, or a block hospital, or any other hospital, or any other health center which may be recognized by your government. Now, it also includes a home for the aged, for the destitute, for street children. It could be an orphanage, it could be a palliative care. So all of these health settings and other institutions can be visited. Then any kind of program in implementation by the government. So maybe government is implementing some program with regards to, say, vector-borne diseases, with regards to HIV, AIDS, or family planning projects, immunization projects, okay, for children. All of these can be done by these program implementation can also be used by the students to carry out their fieldwork activities. So you have to see what all programs are being run by your government. There could be programs related to urban development or rural development, or generally about livelihood, or maybe something like health, and other things. So you can basically look into these various programs and then work accordingly. Then it could also be a school setting. So it may be a government school, it may be a private school, it may be international school, it may be a higher secondary or a pre-primary school, whatever. So it basically depends on you. Then you have administrative offices. So any kind of offices with regard to the government, these can be visited. Or media houses, media houses like generally the local paper house, say newspaper, electronic media, any kind of TV channel, okay, online media, these can be visited. It could either be a corporate social responsibility project. Now anybody who can tell me what exactly a corporate social responsibility? Who can tell me what is a corporate social responsibility? Ever heard about it? Ever heard about corporate social responsibilities? Okay. Now, corporate social responsibility is basically a part of the project for the corporates. So, all the big corporates or companies, they are bound to provide some kind of, um uh, keep aside certain funds from their profits for the welfare of the community, for the welfare of the larger community. And they are supposed to carry out some welfare programs or, some development programs for local community or for whatever area, in whatever area they deem fit. It could be in the area of education, it could be in the area of, say, health or skill development, so on and so forth. So it could be in any area. So the corporate may sponsor such projects, community related projects. So you can also work as a part of the CSR projects or the corporate social responsibility projects. Then you can also visit the courts in your areas. So it could be a sessions court, it could be a district court or a family court. Okay, whatever the gradation of the judiciary that is there in your country, you can visit those courts, of course, after prior permission. So you cannot just go and visit these places. You will have to take a, a formal letter, and then visit these places. It could be an SOS village. SOS village is basically a village, that is Save Our Souls village, is basically a village, a kind of a community where the children, who are destitute or who are, orphans or any such children in need of care and protection, they are kept. Okay, so these SOS villages are basically communities where they raise children. Okay, then there could be a business establishment in terms of, say, companies or factories. So you can visit these companies, okay, these businesses, okay, and then correctional settings. Correctional settings means it could be jail or prisons, it could be juvenile homes, okay, it could be observation home for juvenile delinquents, it could be shelter homes. So basically, whatever correctional settings are available in your area, okay, you can visit these correctional settings and then you can get information of these settings. It can also be, protective homes for victims of prostitution or domestic violence and so on and so forth. So it could be protective homes like these. Then it could be, um, it can also be things like, homes for women. where the destituted women or no or those who have been maybe who have been taken by the who are having problems in the family, or who are facing things like domestic violence or other, or who do not have a family to go to, they can be kept in these homes. They can be poor home or the beggar's home. Okay, then also they can be faith-based organizations. Now, what are faith-based organizations? As you can say, faith-based organizations are the organizations which are basically based on different religions. So it can be churches, it can be mosques, it can be temples, depending upon the kind of faith that you follow. And you can definitely work as part of the volunteering program of these organizations. Now we know that these organizations, they have a very sometimes they are having some programs where they carry out activities with the community. Okay, so they will carry out some kind of a welfare activities or charity activities with the communities, or some kind of such activities. So you can visit these faith-based organizations or even work with them. Then there can be some hospices or palliative care centers where you can work. Okay, orphanages, it can be a part of basically orphanages, where children who do not have proper families, or whose parents are not there, they can be kept. Okay, so these orphanages can be visited. There can be some training centers for various types of programs. So you can also look at these various training centers, and some development work which is carried out by the government representatives. All of these are the various different settings where this so all these settings can be considered by you when you are going for your field work. Okay, any difficulty till now? Any student who would like to ask question regarding what has been taught to you till now? So is it clear to all of you?
Hello, ma'am.
Yes.
I want to ask something. For our fieldwork, first and second semester fieldwork, we have
uh,
asked the authority to give us a paper written to the organization that we are able to visit. Because in some
okay.
organizations, if we reach them, they said that we have to bring a letter written, and it was not given. So that makes us to find it very difficult in some organizations. At times, we have to
Okay.
leave it and find another one. Thank you.
Okay, now see, this is an issue where the regional center will have to take the responsibility, and they will have to guide you appropriately. So let me see if sir would be able to tell me something about this. Sir, can you hear me? Excuse me, sir. Excuse me, sir. Well, let me just give him a call, and then let me see. Because I think he has muted the mic because he's having some visitors. Let me see if he can say something about this. Just a moment. Just a moment. I think his this is on mute. Phone is on mute, so I think he's not able to hear. Anyways, we will be meeting for another next 2 days, so I will ask him whenever he's able to, he's available. And in case if he joins in between, then maybe we'll ask him that. This is something that I think the students should individually ask. Okay, so whenever actually he is there, he is already there, but he has probably switched off the mic because he is having some visitors at the moment. So maybe whenever he is available or whenever he is paying attention, then you can ask him. Okay. So let me say whenever. Okay. So anyways, we'll just carry the thing forth. So here after this, after the list of the settings, you have to understand these log sheet. Okay. Now what exactly log sheets are? You have you have to fill this log sheet on the day of the fieldwork, and you have to get it signed by your respective fieldwork supervisor who is allotted to you by the study center. Okay, so here you will write the various this is for basically the various 15 days of work that you will be doing, this concurrent visits that you will be you know doing. These concurrent visits you will be filling the log sheet, and you will have to not only give your signature, but also you have to get the signature for the supervisor who will be allotted to you. Okay, then you have the main activities here for all of the days, like induction meeting, the date of the induction meeting, individual conferences, the first individual conference, in orientation visits. When did you do these orientation visits, the respective dates, followed by your signature and the signature of the fieldwork supervisor. Okay, so you will be doing this. After that, you will be this space here. You will have to paste the Xerox copy of the signature of the certificate of 15 days of field work where you will be doing. So you will be definitely getting an agency where you will be doing your 15 days of field work. So at the back of the journal, they have given um, uh, the the certificate which you are supposed to get it from the agency. Okay, you have to get it filled, duly signed by the agency. Okay, the main person who's there in the agency, and you have to basically here you have to fill in um, the Xerox copy of that certificate here. So you will be pasting that certificate. The original certificate you will keep it with you, okay, for your reference. But a Xerox copy of it will be pasted to this journal. Then you have the induction meeting. Now, induction meeting is basically the first meeting where you will be, dealing with the supervisor, where you will be given all the detailed information about the fieldwork. Here, either the academic counselor, like I am the academic counselor in your case, or the fieldwork supervisor, as the case may be, he or she can organize this induction meeting for the students. Okay, and it here in this meeting they will be given information about the preparation for the field work. So whatever different preparations you are supposed to do, your carry out your for the field work, you will be informed about those preparations. Then during this meeting, the supervisor will also give you necessary guidance with regard to the purpose of the field work and the expectation from the field work. So if you have any kind of, if there is any kind of expectations, whatever expectations that are there from the students with regard to the field work, then the students will also be told about their responsibilities. So you have a responsibility towards the university, you have responsibility towards the agency that will be hiring you, taking you for this field work. So this responsibility will be there. You have also the teaching learning process involved in this field work, that would be told to you. How will you write the report? The importance of individual conferences, all of these details will be given to you by the concerned person. Okay, so you will be given about all of these details by the person. So for example, the three you know the three classes that we are having for this BSWL 107, like today, tomorrow, day after, you can consider this as induction meetings. Okay. And for the induction meeting, you have to write a very detailed report about what all you were told by the instructor or by the supervisor for the meeting, for the basically for the field work, and what all guidance is given to you. You can write with the subtitles. Okay, so for example, you can write subtitles regarding the orientation visits, regarding the concurrent visits, regarding individual conferences. Okay, all of these things you can write with subtitles. And again, as I said, that all of these reports, they have to be written in third person, and they are very formal reports. So avoid using very any kind of slang language in this. Language has to be written in a very professional manner. Okay, and um, now generally these journals are written with by the students in hand. They have to actually handwrite the report, but in your case, I think you will have to type the report. Okay. Am I right? How did you do your first year report? You have typed it, right? Online?
We type it.
Okay. You have typed it, no? So for this year also, you will be doing it the similar manner. So that is not the problem. Now, after this, we will come to the exactly how you are going to write the report, what all you are going to write the report. Now here you will have to write the date in which the induction meeting take place. You can write today's date in which it started, the time between 3, whatever time it is according to your. Right now it is evening here in India, so but you can write the time in which in which this session is taking place. Then you have to write the name of the supervisor. So when you get the supervisor concerned, you are going to write the name of the supervisor, and in the report, you will be mentioning all of the details that you are being told by me. So you have to write down the subtitles. Okay, see how what all you can write in the subtitles. You may take the help of the journal or the guide that is given with your journal to write down the about the various components of the fieldwork. So all this
Madam,
information that is being
madam,
provided to you. Yes.
before you proceed, I
Hmm?
want to be clear on the time. You said, according on the time, like as we are doing our field journal, like learning our field journal, we should include time according to our localities.
So you can write your local time for that.
Oh, okay, fine.
You
For
can write
for
your
for
local time.
example, for example, here in Malawi, the time which is indicated in India, it's 11:30 to 1:30 p.m.
Uh, Okay, you can write your own local time. That's not a problem. And you can
All right.
mention whatever the time that you are. Like we are having the Indian Standard Time here. You can write in your local time. That is not a
All
problem.
right. Okay.
Yeah, that's not a problem. And if you want to stick to the the time in India, you can stick to that Indian Standard Time. That's not a problem either. So whatever in time in IST it has been given to you, you can mention that. So that's not a problem. Anyway, that's not something which is very relevant. You can either write your local time or you can write the time for IST. It is understood that definitely, since you hail from a different country, your time would be a little different from that in India. Okay, so that's not a problem.
All
Now,
right, madam.
these reports again, they have to be written in detail. As I have already told you, they have to be written in third person. Okay, and you also have to understand that whatever detailed information I am giving to you, you are supposed to write all that information in the pages that will be provided to you in the journal. So they have provided good almost 3.5 pages for this report. So make sure that you write this report in detail, because you will be graded also on the basis of the quality of report that you give. Okay, so that is very important. So the quality of the report should be good. You are not supposed to write anything after this. So here you can see this date of submission. You can write the date in which you submit this report, but the comments by FWS, that is the comments by the fieldwork supervisor, this is something that would be done by the supervisor. And here the signature and date, this is also for the supervisor. Okay, so you are not supposed to write anything beyond this line. You can see you're not supposed to write anything beyond this. This is something that your fieldwork supervisor will be doing. Okay, so he or she will be writing his or her comments here. Now, after this, we come to the report of the first individual conferences. Now, we have already studied before that you have to participate in at least 5 individual conferences, which will be held in different times, okay, after certain intervals. So, here you will come with the report of the first individual conference. Okay, and you will prepare a report of the meeting that will take place with you and the supervisor. Okay, at one-on-one basis. So basically, since you will be having different supervisors according to your situation, condition, or your country, you will be having different days in which you will be writing, this conference will be conducted. So you will have to adjust the dates according to your the availability of the supervisor. But the thing is that after you do carry out these initial induction meeting, you will have to do the individual conference, first individual conference. Okay, where you will be updating the supervisor um, about the field work. How is it going? What is the status of your field work? You will also discuss any problem or challenges if you're facing in the field work agency, or generally with the client group or whatever. And if there is some guidance that you want to seek from the supervisor, then you can seek the guidance. So here, we have already said that 5 such individual conferences will be compulsory, and you will have to meet your supervisor for carrying out these conferences. Now, whatever discussions regarding the organization that is chosen for the work, all these discussions regarding the learning plan, regarding the report writing will be done. Here also, you will write the date in which the conference will take place, the time decided by you and your supervisor. How long did the meeting last? It lasted for an hour, it lasted for half an hour, whatever the duration of the meeting, you have to write the duration, the name of the fieldwork supervisor, and what all issues were discussed during the meeting. So basically, here in the space provided, you will have to type the details of the meeting. So basically, all the details of the meeting, okay, in terms of the discussions that took place between you and the supervisor, you have to write those details here. So basically, this would be something like writing down the minutes of the meeting. Okay, so you will be writing the minutes of the meeting here. So they have given ample space for you to give your this to give your to write down your report, and of course you're not supposed to write anything beyond this line. Okay, this will be written by the concerned supervisor. After the first individual conference, we will come to the various fieldwork components. Okay, now what are these fieldwork components? Fieldwork components are the components which are a part of the fieldwork. So it is basically a sequential arrangement of the various components that you are supposed to finish during the course of the fieldwork. So first component is definitely the orientation visits. Okay. Second is the placement. Third is the agency-client relationship. Fourth is the assignment of tasks. Then comes the nature of social work process, then teamwork, then comes your administrative assignments, recording, and finally field instructions. Okay, so these are the various sequential arrangement of the components of field work. After this, we come to the first component of your field work, namely the orientation visits. Now, what are orientation visits? So, can anybody tell me what are these orientation visits? Why are these visits important? Who can tell me about orientation visits?
The orientation visit is where you say you have to do 15 days of uh, conf- uh, to be in one organization for 15 days full time. So these are like the orientation visits where you be writing reports for every day based. That's the orientation visit, according to my own understanding.
Okay. See, orientation visits are basically done with the purpose of making the students familiar with the agencies. Okay. Uh, Basically, these visits are there to orient the students about the different kind of agencies that are working in the field of development or welfare, or maybe community work agencies, the kind of work that they have, the kind of structure that they have, how they are able to manage different grants, or get grants from different sources, the kind of staff that is present in these agencies, the kind of client group that they, work with. All of these information you are able to gather during the course of your orientation visits. Okay, so this is basically to orient the student, give them information regarding the type of agencies that are there working in the field of development. Okay, now after this, the purpose is to give basically here the purpose is to give you a kind of a holistic picture of these welfare sector. Okay, and it should basically you will be exposed to a limited variety of agencies, but then it will be quite possible that these agencies you visit, they are both welfare agencies as well as working in the development sector also. And here, you have to focus extensively on the work that they carry out. Basically, there can be agencies who are working with the weaker sections or on other sections of the populations which are generally marginalized. Okay, they can also agencies who are working with different kind of such clients, like with destitute children and women, so or could be differently abled individuals. There could be something like that. There could be an agency working with street children, or an agency which provides kind of a night shelter, or agencies who are working with the individuals suffering from any kind of a calamity or some kind of abuse or whatever. So there can be different kinds of agencies that can be there. And in most cases, what happens is social workers, they are employed in the welfare settings. They either perform their administrative tasks or they practice different methods of social work to bring about some kind of a behavior modification in the clients. Okay, or maybe they will also plan some kind of intervention program in order to change their existing situation. So the social worker can work at any level here. So you will be a visitor to the agency. You will be a visitor. You will be going to these agencies and understand the services provided by these agencies. Okay. You have to understand the type of beneficiaries that these agencies have, the kind of programs or services that is being provided by the agency, how effectiveness the efforts of the agency are, how well it is able to work with the clients. Okay, what is the level of commitment of the staff and other, you know, other volunteers. Maybe you will also understand the kind of training which is given to prepare them for the job. So all of these information you will be able to get from the agency. Now, there is also a performer for information required during the orientation visits or the guidelines for the agency profile. So when you are writing down um, getting information from the agency. So when you visit the agency and you want to write down the information, so you will follow this particular pro forma. Okay. And what all questions are there, what all subheadings you find here in this pro forma, you are going to get information according to the subheading. So there will be question, there will be space for writing the name of the institution. So you have to write the name of the agency which you are visiting for the visit. Okay. This would be a 1 day visit. It won't even last for a day. You will be there for maybe 2 to 3 hours and complete your information, complete taking information and complete visiting the agency, understand the various aspects of the agency. So it will be basically a, maybe you can say max to max a half day visit to these agencies. So you can write down the name of the institution here. Then this would be followed by the address of the institution. So wherever, whatever the postal address is, you are going to write the address. Many a times an agency may have some mission statement, okay, or a motto. So if your agency has a mission statement or a motto, then you can write the mission statement here. Sometimes they may be having some kind of an institutional objectives. Okay, so sometimes agencies, they do have their objectives, that is whatever they intend to achieve by their working, what do they intend to achieve by the work or by the services that they are providing. So those objectives you have to write down. You also have to write down the chief executive officer and other officers which are there. So the connotation or the position of these officers will be different depending upon the type of agency. So if you're visiting a school, you know that the head is always the principal. Okay. There can be other heads also, like there could be a vice principal under the principal, or there can be a headmistress. Whatever the connotation is, it would depend totally on the kind of agency that you are visiting. So accordingly, you are going to write whoever is the chief executive officer and other executive officers of the agency. You are also going to write the details about the board members if there are board members. So not all agencies will be having board members. It would depend upon from the nature of agency, the kind of agency that you're visiting. Then next you are going to write the type of work. So what type of work or what type of services are being provided by the agency? Okay, the program that they are running, for the community or for individuals or whatever project that they are running, you have to write down about the type of work or the kind of services that they are being provided. Next, you are going to write about the number and nature of beneficiaries. So, beneficiaries means here the client group. So, people or community who are getting benefit of the work from the work of the community, you are going to write about the number of such people and also the nature of beneficiaries. So, if it's a school, it will be dealing with students. If it's an orphanage, it will be dealing with destitute children or children who are not having their families or any caretaker to look after. If it's an old age home, it would be looking after the senior citizens. Okay, so basically, you have to write the number and nature of beneficiaries depending upon the kind of agency that you are visiting. Then next you will write the geographical area of work. Geographical area of work includes the extent of area to which the agency is working. So basically, if it is working for the whole district or for the whole town or for the whole province or for the whole country, you are going to write the extent of the geographical area of work. Okay, so this information again you are going to get from the agency. Then you have to find out whether the agency is registered or not. Now, there are different kinds of organizations. Most of the NGOs or the community based organizations, they would require registrations by the government. So, government will always register these agencies. Okay, and they would be you have to ensure that these agencies are registered. They are duly registered under the government. Now, again, a lot of it would depend upon your nature of agency. Like, for example, if it's already a government organization, it need not have any kind of a registration because they are already being affiliated to the government. So again, you will see the kind of agency that you're working. If it's a non-governmental organization, or if it's a community organization, or if it's a CBO, community-based organization, or any grassroots organization, which is not under the purview of the government, they will have to be duly registered under the government. Okay, so you have to ensure that the agency is registered if it is not a government agency. Then after that, you will discuss the organizational structure here. Now, organizational structure means that you will have to give a simple diagram, have to draw a simple diagram about the organization. So it could be a flow chart where you will give details of the organizational structure. So how that organization is structured, what is the what are the various hierarchies within the organization, all of these information you will give in this organizational structure diagram. After that, you will come to the information about the staff members. So you will understand that there can be three types of staff which will be giving their support or services to the organization. There could be a professional staff which will comprise of social workers or doctors or maybe counselors or whatever. So whoever professional staff are working by in that organization, you are going to take down the number of professional staff, their qualification, what all qualification is required for them, and the position which is held by them. Okay, and then next comes the support staff. So support staff can be so many. It can be in terms of the say the uh, accountant. It could be in terms of some other helpers or drivers or cook or whatever. So any kind of a support staff that is supporting the professional staff, you are going to write the details about their number, about the qualification, about the position held by those individuals. And finally, you will see if there are any volunteers in the organization. Now, not all organizations are going to get the help from the volunteers. So you will have to understand. Okay, you will have to understand about these volunteers. So these volunteers may or these volunteers may be there for organizations, or these volunteers may not be there for the organization. So not all organization will employ volunteers. So this would depend upon the kind of organization that you're visiting. So after we discuss the organizational structure, we have to discuss the history of the organization. Now, what all aspects will be discussed in the history? So here you will be dealing with the you will trace briefly the history of the organization right from the time of its inception. So when the organization started, how it has grown over a period of time, how it has changed. Uh, has there been changes in the area of working, in the services being provided by the organization? Any changes in the staff, any changes in the basic objectives? So any kind of, uh, any kind of details about the organization right from the time it started, you have to discuss all these things in detail here under the history of the organization. Okay, so basically how it has changed over a period of time. Okay, and what have been the results of the changes. All of these things you will study under the history of the organization. After the history comes the sources of funding. So the sources of fundings include finding out where does the agency get its grants, okay, or financial assistance, where it is getting the financial assistance from, whether it is getting from some kind of a foreign source, whether it is getting from the local government, okay, or any some indigenous sources, okay, whether it is a community owned resources, okay, whether it has its proper you know um, so all of these sources of fundings you have to get the information about from the agency. Now sometimes what happens, the agency may not be ready to divulge such information, so in this case, you are not supposed to actually insist on getting the information. Then you just try to get the information if it is possible indirectly. Okay. See if you can get some sources from the from other members, or maybe from uh, from some of the, sometimes they do write it in the report. And so basically you will have to take this information out very strategically. Okay, see how you can um, you know um, ask such information. If they are not ready to divulge the information, then you will have to get it indirectly. And if it is not possible, then it's okay, you can just write a note that this information could not be extracted from the agency, or this information could not be possibly uh, taken from the agency. So it's okay. So you have to see the kind of agency that you're visiting, whether they are willing to get and give you information regarding the funding. Then you can also write about the various infrastructure facilities that are there. So this is something that you can always observe. So instead of asking them directly, you can also observe and see. For example, if it's having its own building, or if it is taking it on rent, if it's having some kind of a transportation facility of its own, okay, whether there are playgrounds or there are grounds, whether there is any kind of a furniture or other things, like a phone, or a computer, or maybe some kind of say printer, or anything like this, anything which is included under the infrastructure. If you can get you know, you can not only observe it, but also some of these information you can directly get from the agency workers, or even from the person who will be giving you agency information regarding the organization. It could also include some communication aids also. So, for example, like I already said, this computer, phone, internet facilities, or any other things which can be included as part of the communication aids. It would also include audio video equipments. Okay, so audio video equipments like projectors, like players, all of these radio, all of these can be included here. Then you have to write the relationship with other agencies. So how that relationship is, the how the agency is having a relationship with other welfare agencies who are working on the same issue. So for example, if it's a school, how is its relationship with other schools in the area, or who are working on in the area. If it's you can find out about its relationship with the government organizations, okay, or with the government departments. You can also get the information regarding that. You can also understand the relationship with other, local self-government institutions. So, for example, the kind of relationship that it has with the local bodies. You can write about that. If there is any kind of a relationship of the organization with the CBOs or the community-based organizations local CBOs, then you can write about them. And all of these information you can seek. Yes, you want to say something? Uh, okay. So here, as I said, you are going to write down about your relationship with the of the community of the agency with other agencies, okay, who are either working on the same issue, or maybe agencies like the government agencies, and so and so. So here we will be trying and make an assessment of the relationship that the agency has with other agencies, okay, or even with the community. That also can be found out. Now, if there is any kind of a relationship or affiliations with some religious organizations or associations, you can write about that. Okay, so you can write down the agency, the association of the agency with the other religious organizations. After this, so you will write about the problems which are faced by the agency. Okay, what all problems are being faced by the agency, including problems related to the fundings, or problems relating to the client groups, or paucity of workers, anything. All of these problems, they can be divided into internal problem and the external problem. So internal problem would be related to things like funding, basic infrastructure which is available, staff, management, and objectives. All of these will be internal problems of the agency. And apart from writing about the problems, you will also uh, write down the proposed remedies. If the agency has any kind of proposed, you can say, um, remedy for that problem. Have they thought out about any remedy? And the external problems would be related to the client group, the target population. So maybe there's some kind of cooperation, lack of cooperation from the on the part of the community. There is some kind of hostility from the members of the community, or even from the leadership. Okay, it could be related to their problems with the government agency, or with other organizations, with the local authorities. So all of these can be a part of the external problems, okay, faced by the agency. And you will also note down how the agency plans to face these problems. What does it intend to do with these problems? What kind of suggestions or remedies does has it thought about? how it is going to be, the what kind of relationship with the donors, you know, all of these things you can write down here. Then we are going to talk about the future plan. So if the agency is having any kind of a future plan in terms of, are they trying to expand their frontiers, are they planning to include more issues in their area of work, are they planning to start something new. So all of the future plans that the organization has, we have to write about these here. So we will be basically talking about the future plans of the agency. After that we come to the recognition and awards. So basically, these recognition and awards is those recognition or awards which is being given to the agency or awarded to the agency in recognition of its contribution towards a social upliftment. Okay, so you will write down about any recognition or awards if the agency has won from the government or from some other organization. You have to write about it. Then comes the affiliation. So you have to mention here if the agency is having any kind of an affiliation with some other institutions, okay, like some other councils, if they are having some kind of affiliations with regard to higher educational institutions, or any kind of networking, all of these affiliations you will write about this here. And apart from this, if there is any kind of an information that the agency wish to give to you, or whether they have participated in a disaster, or maybe any kind of political nature of the activity, if it is applicable, then you can write about such information here. Okay, and then of course comes your learning process. So here you will write about your own impressions of the agency. So, how did your impressions about the agency are? How do you compare the agency with other agencies that you have visited? Just try to note down the strength and the weaknesses in comparison with the with the other agencies. You can also give your opinion on the importance of the agency to the community. Why do you think agency is doing such an important job? Okay, and also you may agree or disagree with the method used by the agency to attain its objectives, and give reasons for the same. Okay, so you will be writing about whatever you have gained in terms of knowledge, in terms of skill, and in terms of your attitude. Okay, so these are some of the important impact related to the agency, learning process of the agency. After that, we come to the second component of the fieldwork, that is the placement. Now, here you have to be very careful where you seek placement. So, definitely, as I have already told you, since you will be practicing social group work here, you will have to find out about the agency that basically practices this particular method of social work. So you will try and get yourself placed in an agency where you will have the opportunity to practice this particular method. Okay. Now, uh, as we have already seen that you also will be building a relationship um, with the clients. So you have to gain experience like that. See the kind of agency where you are comfortable working with. See the kind of agency where you are comfortable with the timings. You are comfortable with their the kind of you can say um, the methodology that they are using. Okay, whether you are comfortable with the issue concerned. So you have to basically find out for yourself whether you are being faced like that. Okay, so all of these things you will have to understand when you're looking into the component second part. Okay, then the third part is the agency client relationship. Now, what do you understand by the agency client relationship? After this, you come to the third component, that is the agency client relationship. Now, we know that one of the major aim of social worker is to improve the social functioning of the client. So when you will go to these agencies, this would be an important work that you will have to do. You have to establish a relationship with the client, okay? And that relationship would be purely on a professional level, okay? And this process starts when the client either comes directly to the agency for help or is persuaded by some other person, okay, to seek help from the agency, okay. So this is sometimes another agency may also refer the client to a given agency, and sometimes this action of the client comes as a result of some of the program conducted by the agency. So, for example, if you have conducted a campaign on HIV and AIDS, so definitely one of the important part of this program would be to encourage individuals who have any kind of, who suspect that they are having some kind of, maybe if they are infected or they are under the high risk behavior groups, to approach you for any kind of a help or assistance or maybe for counseling. Okay, so there are these different ways in which a particular client may approach the agency or the counselor. Okay, now the agency will then allocate the cause of the social worker. Okay, sorry, the agency will then accordingly allocate the case to the social worker. So you will be allocated a particular case or maybe a particular group in this particular scenario. In this scenario, you will be allocated a particular group to work with. Okay, and agency here will provide you with the necessary resources. Okay, and the client, since the client is the center of the whole process, so this client social worker agency system, this has to be understood properly. So you should know the role of the agency here, the role of you as a social worker, and also the client. So this relationship between the agency, social worker, and the client, this is very important for you to understand. Okay. Now, one must understate here that the client would approach the agency with some expectations. So the client will always have some expectations with the agency, and at the same time, they may also have some kind of an apprehension. Okay, they have their own value system, they how they view the world, they have their own experiences. So definitely, they may come to you with certain kind of expectations, and sometimes even with some kind of preconceived notions about the level of help that they can get from you. So here, sometimes what happen, a person may come to you for some kind of a monetary help. Okay, and if they feel that the whole process of counseling is a waste of time, so you will get different types of clients who will come to you having their own ideology, having their own expectations and their own limitations about this whole social work process. Okay, so and you will have to make an attempt to basically make the person understand, the kind of help that he or she can get from the agency. Definitely, if a person expects some kind of monetary help from you, you are definitely not going to give that monetary help. So as I have already told you, depending upon the limitations of the agency, depending upon your own limitation, you have to be very, very clear about the services that will be provided by your agency to that particular client. Okay, so you have to build up this understanding in the initial stage itself. Okay, but at the same time, you have to understand that every individual is different, their level of understanding is different, and therefore their expectations from you will be different. So you have to have an overall non-judgmental attitude about that person. So do not develop any kind of a bias relating to the individual based on the background of the individual, based on the education level, based on the socioeconomic background, based on maybe a religious background. So you have to understand that this preconceived notions should not develop. So you will have to follow these principles, like following, having a non-judgmental attitude, having a controlled emotional involvement with the client. This is very much emphasized for any social worker, to have a good relationship with the individual, okay, which has to be totally on a professional basis. Now we will discuss this further tomorrow. Okay, any kind of questions which you have related to this present whatever we have discussed till now, any kind of information, any kind of problem or clarification you need. And regarding the questions, I think we can ask Sir maybe tomorrow and see what he has to say. Okay, regarding that those questions that you have asked during this. Sir, are you there?
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Yes, sir. Anas, I'm trying to do that. Sir, are you there in the regional center? Okay, I think he is not able to, maybe the mic is, I think, switched off. So, okay. So, what we can do is maybe you can just, we will just try to get the information during the beginning of the session tomorrow, okay, when he is there. Okay. So, this is all for today. We will continue with this presentation tomorrow, and we'll be discussing about the about your field work in detail tomorrow again. Okay. So till then, have a really great day, all of you, and thank you so much for joining me online. Okay, have a great day.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, thank you.